Their journey over the Felvalone Sea was not easily trekked, but alas, Lysanther and Dwarma arrived at the White Tower of Lysarin, upon the elvish Isles of Ethalos, with the help of the Sword of Voltune, now the Sword of Avarice, wielded by Lysanther and Dwarma, the master of the Spellblade. They repelled the forces of darkness, which had been weakened after they completed the binding of the darkness in the Shadowfell. Let me see if I can show Twitch chat a map. Let me pull up sort of like this is just a super basic map. Doesn't really work that well, so I gotta zoom in. But this is sort of where our adventure takes place. They crossed north. I'm using World Anvil for these maps. They crossed from, basically they came down from Barovia into Stormbrook and then crossed the sea and to go to the Elven Isles. So they crossed the Felvalone Sea here.
So it's to the southwest of Orin, right?
Yep. Now I'm going to tab back because otherwise I'll just forget. And I'll just stay on there for the rest of the game.
Also, once you told me that this was gonna that this one shot was gonna be canonical, I'm sitting here like, yeah, we gotta, yeah.
Yeah.
The elves are once again free from the yoke of the darkness, and a semblance of peace has returned to the realm. Some of the elves wish to remain isolationist. Others, though, a part of the council, look to Lysanther as fulfilling the ancient prophecies as a reason to fulfill their greater ambitions by conquering the rest of Vagrax and restore the elvish people to their former glory. With the Sword of Avarice forged by the gods, Lysanther is forced to slay an evildoer each day in order to satiate the unquenchable blood of the sword, or the bloodlust of the sword, which was only meant to be wielded by Voltune herself. As such, Lysanther has also become a feared slayer of all evil. Throughout all the Isles of Ethalos, her name strikes fear into all friend and foe. Now, not only does she serve the elven people at the high chair upon its council, or the Grand Master from your story, right? That you wrote?
Yeah.
The Grand Master, but she serves also as the High Executioner as well. Her power has only grown over the past year, as those upon the council whisper unsettling rumors if she is truly in control of her own actions. For when she is alone, she speaks to the God-forged sword and bends to its commands. Again, up to interpretation, as we will soon find out. Shortly after arriving in Lysarin, Dwarma sealed his soul into a phylactery to ensure his immortality. So here's the first question, Dwarma. What's your phylactery?
My phylactery, it's just a simple jar. Well, really just a simple stone case jar. That it's a stone case jar. You could bury it into the earth if you needed to, and it just blends in.
Are there any like runes or inscriptions, or is it enchanted in any way?
No. I mean, it's enchanted, but there's no obvious indication of it being enchanted. Because at this point, he's trying to keep trying to keep it subtle, that he wants to go back to being a half elf, but in order to ensure that that goes off without a hitch, he has to make sure he doesn't die.
Echoing in his eternal mind are the cackles of his former master, Exithanther, as the stones collapsed around Exithanther, as well as all the priceless tomes of knowledge within the Amber Temple. Dwarma continues to slip from his former self day by day. Who he was is now a fading memory. None of his flesh remains on his bones. His eyes beam with dark energy, his joints held together. I'm just going to mute whoever's got a little bit of feedback. You're okay. His ominous visions. He has ominous visions, piercing red eyes, pitch black with darkness, reflected in the shadowy haze of the Shadowfell. He has touched the Godstone, of the darkness and feels her hopelessness and despair. Deep in his heart, he knows it to be true. Until she is defeated once and for all, he will forever be hunted by her, perhaps to be enslaved, to rule mortals under her banner. The darkness's despair holds no limits and is truly an eternal. The darkness's despair holds no limits to a truly immortal being. Dwarma has no need for food or drink, but he has a new hunger that it must be quenched, the same feeling he has felt in the Shadowfell, and after touching the godstone of the darkness, the souls of others. Whispers, lies. Are you going mad? Those a part of the Elven Council fear the worst, as their mighty leader, Lysanther's grand vision for the Elven people is waning, jaded by her friendship with the Lich. Some on the Elven Council wish Dwarma to be destroyed with his phylactery, or banished to the abyss forever, as they believe necromancy only leads to further corruption, and after all, Dwarma is not a true high elf. So I have this game taking place 1 year later, essentially after the events of Curse of Strahd.
So I am now 29 years old.
Yes.
Yay!
Happy birthday. The ornate tapestry around... So this is where we begin the scene. We're going to start with Lysanther. Sorry, or Lysandra. Lysandris? Sorry,
Lysanther.
Lysanther. Okay.
You got it right the first time.
I need those flashcards.
Cue cards.
Well, her name has changed like 3 times, so...
God. Any questions before we begin?
Well, in chat, when I was... That's why I was typing.
Okay.
In chat, it was, wait, does he reform around the phylactery? Technically, when if we're going by 3-dimensional ruling, if I bury it 5 feet, I can appear 5 feet above ground.
Yeah, the way it works, Dwarma has never died. While his... Well, how about this? We're going to just start off with the D20. If Dwarma rolls a 3 or less, he died during the fights with the remaining forces of the darkness, and he actually, this sort of happens, so he knows how it works.
Yeah. So I'll roll a d20. Let's do it.
Nice.
17.
So Dwarma, the battles with you and Lysandris,
Sure.
Lysanther, damn it. They were very successful. It was a very successful campaign. Obviously, you know, she's wielding this god sword of Avarice, and you're a Lich. You know, you both are very powerful. So, like, the few remaining forces of the darkness stood no chance, and you did not perish in the fight.
Okay.
We will get to more details to Dwarma in a second. I'm just trying to load up the music.
I mean, like, that's when I was thinking about it. I mean, well, like Daerma is... his main stat's obviously intelligence, and he has made pretty bad calls. I.e. running into the trap. Without realizing.
Yeah. Yup.
He had a dumb moment there, but, like, I would think he would just learn a lot of things. Like, his character is really just learning a lot of things as he's going along, too. So, he probably knew what to do, how to do it. Unfortunately, I'm not that bright.
We're starting off with Lysanther. The ornate tapestry surrounds you, finely hung up in the walls of the oval chamber. It depicts mighty tales of you and Dwarma, of your campaign over the past year liberating the elven people. A low hum of the goddess's blade emanates in the empty chamber in Lysarin. I imagine, like, this chamber is like like a large circular elven chamber. I found some concept art, but it didn't quite do it. The sword is like levitating in the middle of this darkened room. It's illuminated by the glow of the sword. You alone approach the goddess's sword, the sword of Avarice, goddess of passion and bloodlust. And it speaks to you in your mind's eye. I'm going to try to do the voice. The voice has developed a raspy tone, a thirsty tone. After the battles with all the legions of orcs and any remaining forces, now you've probably killed hundreds, if not thousands of orcs, or just basically countless. And you are now like the high master of the grand master of the council as well. The sword says, "The orcs fought to the last. We slaughtered them all."
And how did that taste? All of that blood.
Still thirst for...
Well, lucky for you, I feel there is more coming. It's not over yet.
You've developed like a telepathic bond with the sword, right?
Mm-hmm.
In a way, sometimes, how accepting of the sword are you over this past year? Have you drawn closer to it, or are you cautious?
I feel at this point, the sword and I are kind of pretty much bonded to as bonded as you can be.
You're one and the same?
Yeah.
Let's roll a d20.
I feel like I just fucked up.
And let's just see.
Pop it up.
Basically, yeah, let's just see what it is. You want to roll high to get more. Yeah, I don't see the roll, so you're not in the thing. But that's okay. You can just tell me.
'Tis a 6.
The sword shows you. You were saying that you have this super strong bond with the sword. It reaches out and wants you to show it basically the enemy that you want to be slain. Because you said there would be more blood.
Yeah. Lys is gonna think back to when they were fighting Bool and all of those crazy shit was happening around them, all those things coming after them. She's haunted by that. She thinks there's going to be more, and she has that in the bones kind of cold feeling that it's not done yet.
It shows you like when you severed Strahd's hands and you were released basically like into the river Styx. Only for a moment you were there, but the sword remembers as you were holding on to it as you fell into infinity. And it felt like time was endless when you fell into there. Or the ritual was complete, and then you just fell right onto the surface, the amber floor of the amber temple, and escaped barely with your lives as it all came down. But the sword shows you a different vision, a different ambition. You show it in the Shadowfell, the creatures, and it says, "One world at a time." It shows you the visions of elven ships traveling north. And shows you as a queen. And it says you will become that of the light, unlike Voltune, which requires seasons. You and I can live forever and be an unchanging, everlasting season.
That's good. It's good. I like that.
What do you say?
She's gonna just take in the image, take in the idea of me leading ships north to retake territory that the elves once had.
This world was built by killers. It is only thanks to the blood of our enemies and their sons and daughters that we were able to build such a mighty kingdom. You today stand proud and mighty. It is only through the strength of Avarice she gives us the strength and willpower to achieve our goals. If we continue, you will become her, and we can be gods. Never forget, your body is still bone and meat wrapped in blood that is to be spilt in her name.
She's gonna remain silent. Again, taking it in.
The sword says one last thing. Let us build. You see yourself sitting on a throne of skulls. Let us build a throne of skulls of all of our enemies. Together, you and I can conquer more than the Isles of Ethlalos. No one can stop us now. The sword hovers in you in the chamber. You feel its humming as it speaks to you. Do you agree with the sword?
Lys is indifferent.
You feel
she's unsure if
confused.
conquest. I'm just unsure if conquest is what I'm supposed to do.
The thousands of Bull's minions. There is so much evil that needs to be purged, and you hesitate.
Oh, I don't hesitate. I am planning.
Then you hear like a knock to the chamber's door. What do you do?
I'm gonna, well, probably put the sword away first.
You reach out and grab the sword's hilt. Do you retract the blade?
Yeah, I'm gonna put her right back here.
Behind your back, behind your hair?
Yeah.
Cool.
So it's concealed.
Now, what does Lys look like? You had a really awesome picture, but I'd like you to describe it.
She looks... Hold on, I gotta take the picture up now because I can't describe it off the top of my head.
Yeah, because she's like... She has a lot of scars now.
That was when she came back.
Okay.
From that, but elves, they can cover up that stuff. But
Okay.
How she looks now is she's like in black. She's got like a sash over here with her name scrawled in like Elvish. It's got it's very intricate detail, and she looks very like high council, kind of like she's very like stately. She's got her hair long, let out, kind of like how this is, and she wears like a silver kind of crown across here, like a war crown, I would say.
I love it. The knock on the door is there. The blade is now with you. The blade of Avarice. Do you answer the door?
Yes.
An elven, like, just basically servant of some kind is like, the council's waiting.
Let's not make them wait any longer then.
Let's go to Daerma. So, Daerma, we've already assumed... It's been a year of time, Daerma. The elves have let you... You're basically a guest in the elven lands. Have you decided to start to consume souls? You started to feel the effects of madness, I want to say probably a couple weeks after you arrived, and you sealed your soul away in the phylactery.
It's been a couple weeks. Still, I feel the effect of madness, but ever since Daerma became a Lich, he's been writing in a journal every day since the sealing of Bull. And he knows that he begins to understand that there was a price to this lichdom if he didn't cure it soon, or if he didn't get rid of it soon. So in this journal, he began to write in his journal, much like I believe Exithanter did, his former master, and he just started writing journals of everything that he did, his thoughts, his
like the travels of Bilbo Baggins.
Yes.
The tale of Bilbo Baggins. I got it. Of Daerma the Lich.
Yes, and he also began going even further, writing more about his childhood, about his growing up, how he was ostracized by a lot of humans by a lot of like humans, and he's ran into a couple of and with his experiences in Barovia didn't exactly help his sanity either, and he's writing down how he was mistreated, how he was bullied because of his half-elven lineage, and he doesn't want to forget that. He writes all the list of people that made a difference in his life, and it's just like it's so many volumes compounding upon each other that in case if he was to go mad, he would try to read something and see if anything would click.
I like it.
It's almost like it's not just madness, but he's also having
you don't want to
like
forget
how
the people that helped you.
He doesn't want to forget. He's like having that regression of like he's experiencing what a person with Alzheimer's is experiencing.
Of course.
So it's not just madness, it's regression and forgetfulness.
So I take it that you don't want to consume souls.
He doesn't want to. He doesn't want to at this point. He's done fine in the year that he has become a Lich, and he's suffering the after effects now.
Let's have Daerma make an insight roll.
Ooh, let's do it. Was that gonna happen anyway?
No. I mean, there's pathways here, man.
All right, hold on.
I'm not going to tell you. There's lots of agency here.
19.
Yeah, so you rolled pretty high. You wonder, like, the elves are suspicious of you. You've tried when you initially came here, and then but nobody wants a child like Lysander in her position. Now that she's basically the High Grandmaster or the head of the table of the council. But people know you're a Lich, and you're basically being watched. Not all the time, but like if you start doing suspicious or act, like you need something, you've kept I'm assuming your phylactery is in your room, or have you put it somewhere special?
Put it somewhere special.
Okay.
I mean, I can either do it in the ground, or I actually
have
my
it somewhere?
familiar. I buried it at the foot of the beach where we landed.
Okay, that's cool. If we need to find it, we'll make a contesting roll.
Okay.
But for now, I'm assuming like you went out in the deep. One night you went out and you were getting worried and more forgetful than normal. But you also wonder if maybe you could just kill small animals and consume their souls or other forms of life. Do you try to do this? Because you rolled pretty high in the insight roll.
I attempt to do it.
Well, I'm asking if you want to.
Maybe a rabbit?
I don't know, do you?
Just something to sate. Yes.
So you have no problem killing a small rabbit? absorbing its soul with necromantic magic.
Oh man, that's hard because, yeah,
You
you'll
do
feel
it.
guilty, but yeah.
You do it, and like you do feel a result. Like it's just almost like any life. Obviously, it's not as powerful as a mortal soul, or a human soul, or an elven soul.
Like you know how Irina during her damn pure stage she was just eating animals.
Oh, yeah.
That's
what I was thinking of.
He remembers. Yeah, he remembers how Irina used to do it and replicates it.
Yeah, but similar to like slaying a buffalo, or a 200-pound man. The soul of something conscious with hundreds of memories and life. Someone young even is probably more preferred, as you find out that you've probably killed a few rabbits. Do you escalate it to like a deer or larger creatures?
No. Keep it at rabbits.
Roll a d20. The DC is 15. To determine if you can stave off some of the more severe effects of madness.
I'm on a goddamn diet! No!
Well, we're just kind of role-playing out the year of time, right?
Yeah.
Of you going through it. So you feel like it's working to a certain degree, but the question is will you bend your morals to sustain yourself? Or you know that you're trying to make it work, but you need something greater. You need either human souls or a large amount of life.
And he's monologuing inside his head. It's just, rabbits, yes. Unfortunately, they're like diets.
The elves have gone a little bit suspicious, so because the first roll, right? And they notice, like, where you go, life is starting to be absorbed. And they haven't done anything, right? Even outside of commanded away from Lysandros. Sorry, Lysandro. Damn it.
Lysandro, that's a new one.
What is it? Lysandros?
Lysanther.
Lysanther. Okay, Thur. Got it.
Thur.
So, Daerma, what do you do? Do you just let it go? And shall we just roll in the madness chart?
Let it go. You mean let go of the suspicion, or let go of the?
This is another opportunity, but you know that now the elves are watching you even more. Basically, you rolled and you failed, so the smaller creatures aren't enough to sustain you. You either have to escalate the absorption of life, or to either people or much larger animals.
I'll go for deer. I'll go for deer.
Every attempt you do, though, the elves can grow more suspicious. Shall we make a roll?
Yes.
It's like this is like a survival roll in a way, right?
I would think it's a survival roll
Roll
because
it
we're
up.
looking for animals.
Yeah, roll it up.
21.
Natural
20.
So you're very successful in doing it. I will roll a counter roll to see what the elves do. To see if they basically see you. Or what do they do? I rolled very low. So you've gotten more discreet. You can cast invisibility on yourself and go throughout the night and move into places no one can see. You've developed a certain chamber, like a butcher's place, where a lair, if you will, that no one has
I feel
found.
like a fucking serial killer.
It's the way it is, unless we want to go mad. So
this is how my
state killer or a Jeffrey Dahmer?
So
no, I'm more like Dexter. Okay.
Okay.
So you have like a lair now where you basically can find large creatures and do it. You roll a natural 20, so you know it's working. But I'm going to say we have to make one last roll because you're really not absorbing the amount of deer that have gone missing. I'm going to say actually all the deer on the island would probably have to go extinct in a way. Or something like that. You rolled a natural 22. for you to just sustain your madness throughout the year. I'll give you a choice. Do we want all the deer to go extinct, or do we want to make another roll?
Make another roll. I don't want to
kill all the deer.
Kill all the deer.
Mess with our ecosystem.
Roll one last time.
For the preservation of the ecosystem. Is it just a regular D20 or survival roll?
Survival roll again. Because you're kind of in a way, you're also like surviving as a person too. 7.
Ooh.
We're not going to give you greater madness, but we'll give you some type of lesser madness, right?
Yeah.
Let me see.
I would rather go mad than kill all the fucking deer. So even in the sake of his madness, he's still considerate of other life. Do I roll a D100?
I'm going to roll it.
Okay.
No, that doesn't work. You've consumed so many lesser souls.
Mm-hmm.
By the time like the year this turns up, it's happened over like the past month that you've developed this. You now regard like doing this, you've reached the end of it. And you've developed like a revulsion towards slaying creatures. You know that the time is short before you become basically a forgetful lich. Similar to Exithanther, just stuck somewhere for eternity, essentially, just buried in some crypt or tome, maybe even this butcher's lair which you've created, and no one can find you forever. So basically now you have a choice as we go to you. But let's go. Do you understand, Dwarma? Am I making sense?
Oh no, I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying this. I'm enjoying.
I just rolled it.
So mad.
It was a 35 on the long-term madness chart. So basically, you've developed an extreme revulsion.
Revulsion.
Yeah, to this just slaying of woodland creatures. You've done the best you can without killing all of the creatures, but you've also failed the roll. I'll roll one last time with the elves. Actually, I won't. Right? Okay. They'll just kind of assume that something is wrong with like all the deer and creatures kind of going missing, but they haven't quite figured it out. It's you, but they suspect it.
Okay. Yeah, but I guess the question is that throughout the month, where would the amount of woodland deer still be, and can they repopulate? I know it will take time, but can they repopulate?
They can, because you made another roll.
Okay. So about maybe
so the ecosystem
left?
is on. Well, it'll take probably a few years, to be honest.
Okay, I can live with that.
Okay.
I can live with the fact that I've killed deer for my own sanity and then created a complete revulsion to it.
Okay. Let's go to Lysandris again. So now we've kind of cut up. This is what Lysanther. This is what's happened over the past year, though, with you, Dwarma. Do you understand? I'm assuming he does. He's getting some aggro.
So am I currently still hidden, like in the butcher shop?
You have a lair which you go to in secret to do these, to basically do this sort of ritual. You do suck the souls out of deer. Their like flesh goes, their veins pop out as you do it, and they just die instantly. But it's not like a strong enough creature, for you to sustain yourself constantly with souls. And you do it every time you like inhale a soul, essentially, into your phylactery, you get more powerful. So you also are feeling the tug of like, it's like a drug, in a way. Like you take a hit and it's like, you need a bigger hit, and the rush is only so good, like, but you need something greater now. And you've reached the point to where like you just developed a repulsion to this now, where you need to go to the next level. And that's what's happened over the past year with you.
Okay.
Okay.
So we can head over to Lysanther and see where she's at.
Now,
I honestly would keep him within the vicinity of the towers, just so it's just magic and they just understand it's magic. They
What do you
can't. Like have him, because I know she would be near the towers.
Sure.
Because
So let me describe what the Tower of Lys is. It's the White Tower. It's where this giant, tower of tomes of magic were once held by the elves, where all their tradition was. It's where all the great mages go to train. They still go there, but the history of this place was that they were occupied by the forces of darkness. Okay. You enter the council chamber. Let's show you a picture here.
Okay.
Let's see what we got. It's called the Arundel Council. Let's see if we can show Twitch. It's just the chamber is 2 stories. The bottom chamber is made of strange marble, brown marble. Above it are statues of elven figures of old. The statues' faces have been defaced, and they have not yet been repaired. The elves of the council wish it to remain defaced for them to remember what the orc occupation was all about, and the occupation of the darkness. Above there are rows of seats made for the general populace when they are invited to the council. And this is more of a private council meeting. As you enter, you hear the whispers of, it's a council of 7 elves, of high elves. Only high elves are allowed on the council, as the high elves are very proud people and very isolationist in general and xenophobic to a certain degree. They also err on a side of superiority to the lesser races because they are truly immortal.
How do they feel about half-elves?
They're not like objectively repulsed, but it's like you are still, think of it like a caste system where you're just a lesser person.
Well, this lesser person found the secret to lichdom and kicked the living shit out of the big, bad, evil guy. With help from friends.
When you approach the council chamber, you hear like whispers of them talking. And you almost hear them say, like, she was speaking to the sword again.
Also, we have a badass swordswoman who talks to a sword and has a direct connection to a god. Bow down to her, bitch.
You're seated. They all take a seat, waiting for you to take the head seat at the council. What do you do?
I'll take my seat.
Welcome, Lysandris. I'm happy you could make it. Agora says. He's an elf who has like reddish blonde hair. It's long. He has an earring. He's a part of the noble families. He says, why were you so late this time?
I was doing some training, if you will.
Hopefully in the name of our people.
Oh, of course.
One of the other council members says, what goods should we expect to arrive?
Goods?
Well, you said trade.
I said training.
Oh, training. I'm sorry.
Yes. But in your question, though, what good will come for our people? We'll get some power back. Make our way forward on the lines.
The mines have been reopened. The elven steel is beginning to be forged once again. And we are in your eternal gratitude, Lysandris.
Well, I needed you guys to, give me that motivation to get something done here. So.
But shouldn't we use this sword, this man, Gora says, to our benefit? And begin to expand our influence as the elves of old.
I agree. As long as the rest of the council is up and we can agree we can do this in the best manner possible.
And as you say, like, agree, like you hear in your mind, like, synchronously, like, say, agree, agree. As the sword, the thirst of the sword says agree. And you kind of hesitate a little bit, and the council members notice this hesitation. A woman, another woman of the council, Nestra Arli, says, should we be not so quick to invade other peoples? Have we not seen the horrors of the wars? In fact,
No, you're right.
My brothers were all slain in the last war, fighting, while you were gone. And yes, we now have a powerful weapon in you and your newfound god sword, but how should we proceed? Her hair is like bunned, her eyes are brown, her hair is dark. She is well dressed as a noble as well.
Well, first I'm going to be like, I'm sorry for your loss. I too lost my parents to this war, and we have to make a move before it's too late. Before it happens to us again.
Gorath says, where should we prepare to send our troops? The armies are trained and at the ready. Our supplies are full, and we only go stronger by the day now. I believe the time of the elves has once again arrived.
I like your quickness to this. That is actually what this council meeting is for. Where do we find that we can take over first?
We were hoping you could answer that for us. High Chair. Shall we go west or to the north? No ships have traveled east in a long time over the great ocean. To the other continents, we do not know what lies there. But if we travel west, those lands are easily for the taking, and as well as the divided human kingdoms to the north, they can all become under our superior rule. Gorath says. Nestra frowns in disagreement.
I'm gonna just ask him what his opinion is.
You ask Gorath what his opinion is?
No, Nestra.
Nestra's
the one that frowns.
She says that I am opposed to any action which would lead our conflict into war. It is now we must spend the next century rebuilding, for the great library of Lysarin has been burned by the Orcs. We should spend our resources rebuilding the elves and look inward rather than outward.
I'm going to turn to the rest of the council and ask them, where do you stand? Shall we stay, or shall we go conquer like the elves of old and regain that power that we once held?
The council, the 7 members of the council, look at one another. And they say, well, if we need a vote, you're the deciding factor. Since you are the high leader and wielder of this great godsword, we look to you as the main decision leader and your vision to our people. And Gorath says, I was afraid of this. She is directionless.
Oh no, you're mistaken. I'm not directionless. I am just making sure I take every opinion into consideration, as I don't wish to cause a civil war, which is possible.
There will be no civil war.
If
We
you
as
say
an
so.
elven people stand together as one. And he looks over to Nestra in a stern look.
All right, then it's settled. Let's make a plan to head north.
We
Take
shall.
back what is ours.
It was never ours to begin with, but we will teach the humans the way of the elf, and they will serve under us. As we are the true immortal beings in their lives are so small and fragile.
Yes, but from my time away from this island, they have become, or the humans have become quite usable, I would say. We can use them. We could put them in our armies. Some of them are very, very well fought. And we can use that to our advantage.
One elf can train for centuries, while just a mortal man can only train for a few years. We would be of great skill compared to any army or troop. Another elf, just like a random guy, says, we could use them as slaves.
No. We're going to take the ones that we can use into our armies, train them for what we can, and then we're going to grow the size of our armies to be very, very feared.
You hear the sword echo on the back of your neck as it caresses you. And what of the Lich? Agora says, the creature is foul and should be destroyed.
No. Don't forget he's the one that also helped with getting rid of all of these orcs from here.
He has served his purpose,
so foul?
And he is a lich of all creatures, something foul and monstrous.
He did that for the best, for the better good. For the better good.
For the greater good, of course.
For the greater good.
If not, he would stand against the might of the elves, and we would destroy him. Or at least try to. I say we find his phylactery, destroy it, and destroy him. The other, Nestra, is a little bit more trepid about it, and she says, well, we don't need to destroy him. We could banish him, or, I don't know, move him to the abyss. The other elf chuckles. Well, we should decide on his fate today before we assemble the armies and take our ships north. For
I have already decided on his fate.
Which is?
He shall remain with me until the end of my time. He is a good friend. He saved me and he saved you guys.
I'll roll a d20 persuasion roll. The DC's probably like, it's got to be like 15, something like that. But again, it's like one of those things where it's like...
Oh, 19!
So...
That was almost a 1.
Woo!
That was almost a 1.
Clutch! Clutch, baby! Clutch!
Summon him in. And they open the chamber doors. The 2 large doors open up. The guards escort Daerma the Lich into the chamber. Into the council chambers. Well, Agor says, if it isn't the Lich himself.
No, don't be so hostile. You will lose your seat.
You would not dare.
Excuse.
I would dare. Do not stand against me.
The other council members are like, they kind of like look in fear.
Ooh, can I do my little madness play here?
You can do whatever you want. You're there.
Don't Hamlet this! Please, no!
What do you do, Daerma?
Okay. I just look at him and...
You enter in and your eyes are like dark with dark energy after touching the Godstone of Bool. You see things with true sight. There's no illusion or anything like that. The elves are all there. And they say, and one of them says, it is rumored that once you touch the darkness and she takes your eyes, she can see through them at any time. She could be watching us right now. The Lich is not safe to be with us. He serves the darkness.
He serves no one but himself. And that is a very interesting myth, because she has no eyes. I've seen her.
Really?
Yes.
What is the goddess is weak. She's no longer can see through any of whatever servants are left. But I know that look you give me, sir. And he kind of regresses back to his childhood days of when a lot of the humans looked at him with condemnation. And he's like, you give me the same look that all the humans used to give to me. Before my father ripped out my ears, marking my elven lineage.
One of the other Gora says, but even then, you are not a true breed. And right now, you are not even an elf. You are something cruel and evil, tainted by the darkness.
You look at me all the same!
And you stare back at me with those evil eyes.
You see little, like, black inklets of...
You can't even cry.
Like,
but
little
the thing
black
is,
tears.
you can't even cry anymore. You think
I
about
can't even cry. Like, this is all, like,
magic.
Bull's
The
things,
shadows.
yeah.
Cool. We should destroy him.
No, that will not happen, like I already told you.
Well, you're just going to take the ships? I don't know if we can rally the men behind us.
I am taking the ships, I, the leader, and they will follow me.
They kind of acknowledge it in a stoic silence.
If any of you choose to stand against me, you can count yourselves banished.
I'll make a d20 roll. The higher the roll, the better for you. Just a 12. I'm going to say 2 of the council members stand up, and Gorish is one of them. And he says, I cannot be a part of this. While I do agree in the conquest and the dominance of the elves once again, I cannot support a Lich amongst our people. This is only evil, and it will only lead to more evil. In fact, Bull could be watching us right now through him, and we don't even know.
Bull is dead. We have destroyed her very being. She is never coming back. If you don't want a Lich to be around the elves, then you can help me and help him by this conquest and by him being able to turn himself away from being a Lich. We need a magic, a power that is not found here to get rid of his Lichdom.
Boris sits back down, like, patiently as you've tried to, like, counteract him. He says, well, there is rumors of a powerful genie in the western lands of here. We could send a summons to him, but it is rumored that he also serves the darkness in some way. We don't know much about him. We don't know much about him, but it could be dangerous. Dealing with genies is never a safe bet. Nestra ponders and thinks to herself. She says, there is one other option.
What is that? You may speak of it.
I'm afraid to, she says.
Go ahead, speak freely. I beg of you.
During the last war, the fortress of Fanthamar was overtaken. Every elf there was slaughtered in the battle. The ground is haunted, and fishermen say that every night they can hear the screams of those left from the island, their spirits unrest. And then Gora says, "You don't dare."
Now hold on, Gora. Continue, please.
It is also rumored that there is a reliquary there at the unhallowed temple. But no elf will stand foot onto that ground. You would have to go in alone.
That is very interesting. How much more information do we have about this?
Gora says you would be mad, even though you wield the god sword. The island must be filled with monsters of all kinds, and ghosts, and who knows who is guarding this reliquary from the last war. He says we could know more, but all the books were burned, and the scribes were slain. We are all that is left of our elvish people.
We have to try.
Sorry, go on.
I want to go back.
It has been our very goal.
This creature says he wants to be a half-elf again.
It has been our goal to get him back.
The decision is yours, my highness, your highness.
I know you may not believe me, but I took this out of necessity. I just want to go back to you back.
Agora says, well, we could meet our adversary, this Genie, apparently. I'm in agreement for that. And we could gauge him and maybe coerce a wish out of him. Who knows what he would want in exchange. Or, Nestra says, the queen could prove herself and the prophecies to be true, and she could travel to Unhallowed Temple and retrieve the artifact and perhaps restore him. Do you know what god was there? We don't know.
Send word.
Sounds like a suicide mission to me.
My dear, we fought gods. If that's not a suicide mission, I don't know what is.
You'd be going in alone. Just the two of you, though.
And we've done that already before.
Shall we summon the genie and send a message?
Let's try that first. I like my options. I like having options.
What do you say, creature?
I follow your highness in faith just as I did before she became the lady of the land. And I will follow her to whatever end it may have for me. Live or die.
And if this genie is uncompromising and does not wish to give us what we need, let us put a contingency to banish this evil thing.
No. The contingency is to go to the island.
The more we wait, the more Bool maybe will attack us with this creature's eyesight. It only opens up a vulnerability to us and our people, and you should not be so careless, Gora says.
I'm not careless. He is more powerful than you will ever be. And that is why he stays around here.
Yes, my queen. The mages gather, the council stands up, and they all go their separate ways. They send orders to the mages to do a message of sending to this creature, apparently, that's across the sea. That they're trying to reach word to this man. Do you guys want to do or say anything before something happens?
I think I've said my piece.
I go to Lysanthier.
I know, you're going to fuck up the name too.
Yeah. I was like...
Making everyone confused today.
Thank you. For everything
of course. We're gonna get you back. And hey, we might have another good fight out of this. There'll be
Now
some
that-
souls for you there.
Now that I'm going to enjoy.
See, right?
The sword whispers to you, it says, Elf man, any creature orc stands between us and our ultimate goal should be destroyed. We will take their skull and put it upon your throne, and we will sit upon it, and all will fear us.
With a little giggle and be like, yeah, that the guy next to me was really annoying. I'm thinking about that one first.
I mean, you know, he gave me that look of racism and hatred.
I'll kill him, Dharma can take his soul, and then we're good. I'm okay with that. I mean,
you know, in Daerma's history, he's been bullied, or he's been bullied for being a half-elf. So, you know, I don't mind eating his soul. He looks juicy.
Are we going to send the message across the sea
yes.
to
Yes.
apparently this genie who is out there?
Yeah. I'm assuming he's gonna want some sort of like
This is the name of the spell,
payment.
by the way.
Wish.
Oh,
Sending.
wish.
Oh.
Just to
Okay,
kind of give
yeah.
you some of the mythology and what has happened.
25 words or less. I love it.
They can send out multiple sendings, you know, to try to reach this emissary, but it's a way to... The elves are very magical creatures. You know, some of their mages are still alive and do possess good power, but none that can rival Her Highness. The message reaches the genie. They gather you both down by the sea where some of his emissary ships have arrived. I want to say like 3 galleons almost of ships. It wouldn't be like an invasion force by any stretch. And he basically docks and they're rowing a boat out. You know, they dock the ship out and they take a rowboat in through shallow waters. I don't even know what the guy's banner is because I haven't done it yet. But it has a sigil of a banner. Why don't you tell me what the banner looks like?
I would probably say gold with a deep, like dried blood red, and then a sort of magical candle lighted in it for knowledge and wisdom, stuff like that. You know, the light bulb of it, I guess.
An elf steps off the boat. He is charming in a way. He walks with a certain confidence. Again, he's only about 5'5", 5'6", but the jewelry he wears is adorned just like his banner, inlaid with gold and necklaces, exuberant amounts of jewelry upon him. He walks with a stride that is almost weightless. He has his emissary is unspeakable, landing on the shores of the Isles of Ethlalos, slowly, not too far away from the White Tower. He has orcs at his side that are his garrison, or his bodyguard, if you want to call it. The 2 other members of the council are there with you to greet this man, or this genie, as he approaches you, apparently under a banner of peace and negotiation. The orcs, to describe them, their faces are horribly scarred. Used as a method of intimidation and fear to strike throughout the land. They are about 6'5", or in their well over 6 feet, very muscular. All of them wield battle axes, darkened armor. Their eyes, Dwarmer, are though strange. Some of their eyes are faded back to gray, not fully touched by the darkness. something is wrong. Hopefully my kid isn't screaming too much in the other.
No, I thought it was me for a second there.
What do you guys do as this envoy is approaching you?
I tug at Lys, at Lysanther, and say to her, they have the touch of evil on them.
They're orcs.
Something's wrong. I can't feel it, but something is not right. I can't describe it.
I'll have my guards keep very, very close watch on them. I'm
Please
gonna
do.
look over, nod at my guard, and then do whatever they do. They like disappear to like the back or whatever. Make
I
themselves
didn't-
scarce.
I do not trust them.
The high
They
spear.
have they have the stink of bull.
He gets closer, and now you can see him. A much clearer picture of this elf who walks with a slender grace upon the sands of the shore. I thought I'd make an appearance more worthy, since all you elves are so stuck on tradition and hate outsiders. I figured I'd look like one of you to make this negotiation a little bit more accepting. He kind of flashes with some flamboyance, and his jewels sparkle into the sunlight. You hear the crashing of the waves behind you. The orcs are closely by. It's just an envoy, though, under peace.
I appreciate your respect for our traditions, but please, by all means, feel comfortable. We are in peace here.
Shall we? He points to the tower up top, and he's trying to be as formal as possible. And the orc growls behind him.
Of course, we shall. Let's go.
You're one of the guards are trained. The elite guard of the queen her highness are meant to be reserved, kind of like the men outside of the castle in England. They don't, but you can only feel, Lysandris, that they are mad. That orcs are just walking around freely on the soil. That how many slaves did they take when they captured the islands? And the enemy is once again returned, even under a banner of peace, with this man or elf with them.
I'm going to give them a warning look. Something that says there will be more later.
Okay. They go up to the tower, and I'm assuming, where do you take them?
Probably to a casting chamber of some sort.
Like a meeting chamber?
Yeah.
Kind of like a thing that maybe
I'm
overlooking the ocean a little bit?
kind of like how the Jedi Council is on Coruscant. Kind of some room like that.
With some chairs and tables and things like that?
It doesn't have to be. It can be plain. I can conjure it up or whatever. Sit.
I'm assuming the elves and the men and the guards, they bring furniture out for you to sit on. I hear you have a problem with a lich. He looks over at Daerma.
I wouldn't necessarily say problem. You dear friend of mine, we are just looking to revert the lichdom.
My name is Rizu. I'm glad to meet your acquaintance. He signals his hand out to hear your response.
My name is Lysanther.
They say you're the council has been dissolved, and that you are the most feared elf in all the lands now.
I would say that's a little bit too much of a rumor, but I am feared.
Well, how can I be of service?
Whatever you need to do this, by all means, we have it. If you want gold, jewels, gems, we have a lot in our reserve. Please just revert his lichdom. That's all we ask of you.
You're so willing to make this bargain. Are you as well so eager, friend? And what is your name, Sir Lich?
My name.
His name is Daerma.
Oh, right. Daerma, yes. Daerma. Thank you.
The madness is already taking him, I see.
It seems to be. That's why we need much haste.
We served the same master at one point, my friend. He looks over at the Lich. But it appears that you have not heard her voice in some time, like myself.
No. I do not. She no longer is in my head. All I hear is my mother calling me.
Stop, my heart hurts. Stop, that hurt.
Am I going to go home, Lysanther?
You are home.
One life for another. All you need to do is wish for it, and I will grant it. What shall it be? What are the terms of this bargain and agreement we shall come upon to restore this hopeless soul to his former self? For a pound of gold must be paid with a pound of gold, and a pound of flesh with a pound of flesh. How shall we appease the gods to not offset the balance of the void?
You wish to take a life? To bring his life back? Is that what I'm understanding of?
We are just open to negotiations at this time. And I am all ears, of course, as he flashes his elegant jewelry in front of you. Rubies, stones, and diamonds. His countless necklaces.
Is there anything that you wish for to have in your possession?
Oh, there is much. What can you offer
What's one
me?
thing that I can give you? I can give you gems, I can give you gold. I can even give you an alliance.
I am not so much interested in alliance. But it is interesting. Tell me more of our alliance.
Well, we would still, once we set off to conquer, we would leave you alone in your lands to conquer. Of course, sending aid when needed, armor, weapons, because you know the best weapons are elven weapons. We can provide those.
Let us be more frank then, and let me read your mind to make sure you're not lying.
Oh, I would never lie when the fate of my friend is in your hands.
He begins to cast a spell. Do you allow it?
Yeah. She has nothing to hide.
He casts a tech thoughts. So basically, he wants your mind to be open in this negotiation.
Yeah.
So that it will be doing that. You'll be just faithful and true.
True glass on me. Let's go.
I hear your minds have reopened. Fine elvish steel and armor. You're not the only one with armies.
Oh, I know.
I whisper to Lysanther and say, I was gonna say, let's not kill people today. I mean, for sacrifice, I mean, if they attack us, we're gonna fuck them up. But no lives. Give him gold, minerals, anything.
Like you two, genies are immortal. And of course, I always stick true to the contract. Even the small fine print. I am
what
under
like to
a
hear.
banner. I am under a banner of peace, and I was sent by your messengers. I have arrived because I am interested.
We could have a great alliance. The west and the south are yours. We'll take the east and the north. Unless of course you prefer the north, then we can head south.
He strums his hands across his face, the gold across his fingers, and as many rings across his knuckles of elegant stone. He says, I want all your gold in the vaults. Plus, a tax of 5 years will be put in place on all the elven people to be paid to me for the terms of this wish.
No blood is to be spilled on either of our sides.
And I also think I would like some of that fine elvish steel. I want your
No, don't be too hasty. I'm offering an alliance, weapons, and armor. And protection, of course.
Do I need
Someone
your
attacks
protection? He looks to the orcs, the large orcs behind him.
I'm gonna do the big dick measuring contest here, pull out my nice sword, be like, I am the protection.
So this is the famous god sword I've heard so much about.
Yes.
I'm gonna twirl her around in my hand, then put her back.
That would be worthy enough for this wish.
I can't. She is soul bonded to me and me only.
Believe me, I've tried to grab the sword.
Yeah, tell him what it did.
Ah! My hand!
Yeah.
It burned my hand. If you're it's like if you're on the concept of celebratory marriage, this is a good example.
If the offer of gold is just too rich for you, I know how poor sometimes people can be, or cheap. I would just require a pound of flesh in return. To restore him, to give him flesh, we must take flesh.
You're gonna Merchant of Venice me? Come on!
I don't know.
You don't know Merchant of Venice?
No.
He asked for a pound of flesh!
I'm just playing along, dude.
I love it! No, I love it. It's great. Alright,
It's like the
what kind
law
of
of
flesh?
equivalent exchange.
what kind of flesh I can give you? We have many animals here.
Say the words first, and you'll find out.
I guess we are. This guy.
Can I give him a pound of Dharma's non-existent flesh?
He's reading your mind, so he knows it to be true, right?
Just laughing.
I mean, we have one fucker we can kill.
Yeah, I know he's right there. Pound of flesh.
He doesn't
is not
trust
too
us,
bad.
and he talks down to that one girl too. Fuck that shit.
Yeah, yeah, it's about dungeon time for him. All right, sure.
What do you want to do?
I just signed his mandolin.
You signed his fucking death warrant when he's.
I don't care. No shits given.
We want to
Neutral
attack.
party here.
We want to attack Rizu. Or what are you doing?
No. Rizu asked for a pound of flesh. And we were in the consideration of Goris because he dared to kill
you want to
me.
bring up that? Make a persuasion roll.
No, I don't want to do that.
But we were just considering
It was a joke. It was a joke.
Okay.
Can't joke.
We can't joke. We can't joke with you, Az.
No, because it can become serious. Okay. Okay. Anything other than flesh, as we do not wish bloodshed. Other than I know.
Flesh or
You
gold?
like gold.
Flesh or gold? Which is it?
So you don't want an alliance.
Make an insight roll.
That's a +0. And that's a 7.
I would probably say, like, you don't get a strong enough read on what he really desires and what any hidden meaning. He obviously is wearing a lot of jewelry, and maybe he's just into gold. And just riches and stuff, but you don't know more than that.
Are my guards in the room with me? Because I should have, what, like 4 guards?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to say I have a nod for them to do, like, kind of how Cersei did in that one scene with Littlefinger.
Do you want to try to attack the convoy?
No, I just kind of want to intimidate them, saying, I'm offering you an alliance. I am offering you a good amount of gold, and I'm offering you armor and weapons for your future endeavors and for mine.
You're trying to twist the will of the gods, though. This is
the gods will this.
This is no easy feat. If we do not exact the balance, the void will be offset, and the ramifications could be dangerous. I need gold or flesh. The choice is yours. He restates the terms of the contract, okay? For gold, he says he wants all the gold in the treasury of the elvish treasury, so the elven people will be impoverished. Plus, he wants to put a tax on the elven people for 5 years. And he wants some steel. Not all the steel, but a lot of steel. And out of the elven mines.
Yeah, no, that way's not going to go. But
it's not going to be
bloodshed.
He says, we don't have to... He says, I will make sure the trade agreement between our people for the steel is not disproportionate. In other words, even though there will be a tax involved, the elven people will get some money back out of the trade for the steel.
That's not a fair deal, as you are taking all of our gold. I can offer you as much armor and swords as you need, but I will not give up our gold.
Gold buys power and armies. I'm sorry, Sir Lich.
Steel.
Apparently you're not worth the gold that she's asking for, so I guess I will have to take flesh or nothing at all.
So
what flesh do you need?
I need the flesh.
Of what?
Of you. If you care so much for him, you will give me your flesh for his.
I think our better chances are with the temple. Just kidding.
I think that as well.
The guy drives a hard bargain.
He clearly does not understand the power that I hold over the elves and over the lands that we will be conquering, and he will be the first conquered, and he will understand the power of my sword firsthand.
I guess we consider this negotiation over. As you kind of threaten him.
Guards. Attack.
You try to attack him?
I'm gonna attack the orcs.
He's reading your mind actively while you do this, so like as soon as you even think about attacking him, he casts a spell. Does Dwarma try to counterspell it? Do you guys try to counterspell him?
Yeah.
Counterspell him.
Okay. Let's roll it up.
1 level 3, and I will cast it with my newly named Red Mage counterspell.
Roll a d20. Roll it up.
Alright, d20 spell attack, right?
Yeah, rolled pretty high. Yeah, add your spell attack modifier.
So 9 plus 16, that's 25-ish.
Let me see what he is.
I think.
Yeah, it's 25.
Okay.
What's your plus to it?
Plus 9.
Yeah.
Are you spell attack or plus or modifier?
Your modifier. He has a plus 7.
Plus 5.
But the spell level is... He casts a much higher level spell than you. That's the problem.
Okay.
Let me take a look here.
Yeah. Okay.
He
So
kept
if it's
the spell level is much higher. Yeah. So I mean, if it was like so how it works is, say you have a level 3 spell, and it was like I rolled you beat his total roll by 1. You don't have this spell in your spell book. It's a 7th level spell.
Okay.
So yeah, it doesn't work. But Lys tries to counterspell him too, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, I roll it up.
Plus the attacker modifier.
Yeah. Roll a d20.
Modifier?
Yep.
Okay, so that's 15, so it doesn't...
So I rolled a 17. I rolled a 18 base. Plus the spell level difference, which is 7 minus 3, plus 5. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So since it's a high level spell, it's just difficult to counterspell. Plus, he kind of got the surprise on you since he's reading your mind. So as soon as you even think about attacking him or telling his guards by any secret, he knows what's up. So it's really hard to get the jump on him, right?
Yeah. I forgot he was reading my mind.
Yep.
Shit!
You try to counterspell him, even though Dwarm almost counterspells him. He says, "See you soon," and he just vanishes in an explosion of fire. It like evaporates and explodes out. The guards are still the orc guards are still there, and they say, "Betrayers," and they attack you. I'm assuming you guys just like deal with them really quickly, and you slaughter every orc that's in the room to the last man.
There's his souls.
I take all the souls of the orcs. I take all the souls of the orcs. Because fuck them.
The guards are like, the adrenaline pumps through their veins, and they like are assisting you, and they said, "We were just waiting for the signal, milady." But they see Dwarma, just like you see like the mist and the essence like come out of these orcs, and they look at them with the horror, and they say, "It is true." The orcs, the guards are kind of alarmed by this necromantic magic that's happening.
Dust off my sleeves and be like, yes, I know. We've had this conversation before. At least I have with someone else. We need to go now. No time to talk about this. Let's go. I'm gonna storm out. And where is that guy? Because I'm gonna tell him that it was a horrible idea.
You want to go speak with Gorass?
Yeah. If they're all like standing somewhere, I wanted to be like, that was a horrible idea. Get my ships ready.
Do we want to summon the council?
Yeah. No. Actually, yeah, because I have a war plan now. Actually, Dharma, we could go to war with you as a witch. A lich. That is see right there. See. I have a good idea. Okay. Yeah.
Those bastards tried to drink us dry.
Let's summon the council.
The council.
I'm going to just be like, pacing around and shit.
The bell tower rings. The council has been summoned to the council chambers. They arrive. Surprisingly, you're there first this time, waiting for all of them, which is shocking since you've been sort of negligent lately in some of the council meetings, being sort of late enthralled by the sword of Avarice. Avarice's blood is, as you've slain the orcs today, has been satiated. It agrees and says we should go to all the continents one by one. And as you sit down at the council, they're all there. I'm assuming I heard the negotiations didn't go quite as planned.
You didn't tell me that he deals with the orcs.
I knew nothing about
that bastard tried to wring you dry!
I knew nothing about this man. I just heard about it. We're trying to shoot in the dark here. We're trying to do the impossible by bringing this man back to life. And desperate times call for desperate measures, milady.
But now what's going to happen now is we're going to head to war.
With who?
The West. That Genie. He brought orcs onto our lane and attacked.
If you say so, we will command the troops immediately.
And he, I'm going to point to Dharma, is going to aid me in this as my second in command. We will overtake them.
I was gonna say, I kind of mentioned it to him, so I was like, don't forget, he also tried to bribe us out of all the treasury we had left.
Yeah.
Strange. Didn't you find it odd that those orcs' eyes went completely pitch black like this man? This creature? Something is wrong with the darkness.
There's something to the west of here that needs to be put down. Let's spread our name further.
We follow in your service, milady. Your Highness. We will command the ships. I take it you are not going to go to the temple.
No. Instead of risking our lives, we are going for whatever's over there and the ghosts and shit. We are going to risk our lives to bring us glory here.
For the glory
of
For the glory of our empire. What do you want to call the empire of the elves' name? I have an example name if you want me just to use it, but I was leaving it up to you, as you are now the leader of the elven people. The name I came up with was Tol Erisia. But if you want a different name, that's cool.
No, I think that's fine. I think that's good. Oh, it was either going to be that or Lysane.
I like Lysane more.
Tol Lysane.
Tol Lysane?
Yeah.
Tol Lysane. Alright, so Daerma shouts out into all the council rooms so that they all hear, "All hail High Queen Lysanther of Tol Lysane." I think that's how we're gonna go with it, yeah.
Lysanther needs to roll a d20 persuasion roll to convince the rest of the elves of the council to let Daerma...
25!
So they allow Daerma to do this, and they just see this as an opportunity. Well, we did use him in the last battles with the orcs, and there's apparently orcs in the west. Well, what's wrong with him just going and killing them? And then we'll get him rid of off the island. He'll be off the island. He won't even be here anymore. Do you guys say anything or do anything?
No, I'm not gonna hear any, I'm just gonna, just do a cute little smile at him.
So over the coming months, I'm assuming, the elves, they, get the lumber ready. They start making more ships, and they start to prepare for an invasion to the west of Vargax.
And I do want to take students who have been trained in war magic with me.
Is there anything you want to do, Daerma?
I follow her lead, and
oh my
I'm
God,
still a lich.
Teach the little kitties.
I get to teach the little kitties.
So, Daerma, are you tagging along? You don't want to try to go to this island, maybe? So you're tagging along with Lys, and we're basically going to do a battle in the west.
I believe a battle in the west sounds nice.
Okay.
We'll head to the temple when we're ready.
Are you going to... are you going to try to dabble into necromancy anymore, as far as going and trying to devour more souls after you basically tasted the souls of the orcs from the chamber? It was definitely you were empty from before, but you have this madness still about you, right? Where you can't, you have to basically consume sentient beings.
I do have a question about that.
I talked to Lysanther about it, but go ahead. Be right back.
Puppy said woof. So you said in the beginning I'm an executioner?
Yes.
Can you just take the souls of the body that I execute?
Yeah.
Symbiotic relationship here.
Yeah.
There we go.
There we go.
Now that
just still a lich. We'll take him to the crypts, and he'll just so no one has to see it. You work in the crypts. Oh my God, I got you a job.
Okay, we're gonna make a couple rolls then.
Okay.
I feel so happy.
So
he's a good lick.
Lysandros basically, it takes probably, I'm going to say, a few weeks to build the army that's already been preparing for an invasion. Mm-hmm. And the High Elves are once again going to try to reestablish their domination throughout the continents, the surrounding continents at least. and maybe the sword has greater ambition for you. In doing so over the next few weeks, Lysandris takes the bodies down to this special place that no one is, or you have trusted people around you that are sworn to secrecy, and they basically, you kill these prisoners or just evildoers in seclusion, whether they be good or bad, I guess, and Daerma sucks the souls out of them. I mean, and then you basically kind of like do the samurai move. I guess you're like chopping their heads off while they're getting their souls sucked out of them.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Does Daerma want to do this is the question. Because Daerma, basically Lysandris is opening an opportunity for you to basically kill sentient creatures.
I want to say I have no... I have... this is just a mean... I keep telling... he keeps telling himself, this is a means to an end. This is a means to an end. This is a means to an end.
You're going to be executed anyways.
Yeah, and it's like... wasting resources. Wasting resources.
Very macabre way to put it, but I love it.
It's wasting resources, and he has no choice but to do it. Because he'd rather not kill the wildlife. At this point, sentient beings are jerks. And they have tried to attack my friend. So they're gonna get it.
I like it. Let's roll it. Daerma needs to roll a d20. If he rolls a 17 or higher, something happens.
Something bad?
Can I choose to...
Okay.
Can I choose to re-roll this with my Dynamat with my Chronal Shift?
Make one roll and we'll see what happens.
A 14?
You feel like something is trying to reach out. And something has reached out and touched you. Do you want to roll again?
Yeah, I'll re-roll.
Okay.
I Chronal Shift it. I can't even fucking see. 15.
So no, you didn't get it high enough.
Yeah.
You don't know what it was or who it was, but something has taken notice. No one knows who it is, but you, alone in your own mind, the eternal mind of Daerma, the sleepless one, the soul destroyer.
Can we call him the soulmonger?
We can
Oh my
from Tomb of Annihilation.
From Tomb of Annihilation, yeah.
Daerma
then earned the moniker. Yeah.
Daerma then needs to roll. Do you want me to roll this one or you to roll it? This is the council. Behind Lysandris's back, Lysanther's back, is trying to capture Daerma. I'll do an initial roll to see if they've caught on to the plot over the few weeks of him doing this ritual in the basement of Lysarin. I have to roll very high. They don't know about it, but so I'd probably have like disadvantage. I'd probably have like not advantage or anything like that, or wouldn't be like brought to light that like Daerma's performing these basically evil soul-sucking rituals in the basement. I will roll again though, to see what happens in regards to maybe Daerma's fate.
I think Lys is curious enough to just kind of sit around and like watch him do it, be like, huh, interesting. Huh, I didn't know that could happen. That's a soul.
You see the tiny orb, and I'm just in here. Yeah, that's a soul.
You're just like eating it like an apple.
Yeah. Oh, this tastes like a quarter pounder at McDonald's.
I didn't roll high enough. I'd probably have to roll like a 15 or higher to really do it. Lys gets to make a counter roll at this time. So Lys needs to roll just a straight d20, I guess. I'm trying to figure out.
19.
Lys rolls very high, and higher than what I rolled, which was a 14. She uncovers a plot to try to capture Daerma and destroy his phylactery.
Do I know who has it?
It's by Goris.
Hey, yo! You know what?
What do you want to do with him?
I might just have my guards just round him up. I'll hold him trial for treason, and then I'll give him to Daerma.
Okay.
Let's
do so.
Let's RP this out.
Well, yeah, you do so.
Wait. Can you take his soul slowly?
I can...
And just, like... We could leave him in the dungeon for a while he's, like, recovering, and then you just... go back. That may be a little macabre, actually. Treason. Treason. High treason.
I'm curious as how does this work? Like, do I just eat the spherical soul, or can I just take tiny shards of it away?
You have to consume the whole soul. And how it works is, like, technically when the creature falls to, like, 0 HP, like, you just start to just rip the souls out of these things.
Okay, so...
But no, it's very creative. I how about this? That's kind of a creative way. A soul cannot be parceled off, like what you're talking about. I think it's a cool concept, though. I like it. Yeah. Why don't you roll a d20?
I kind of want to just taunt him by just be like he feels it, and then I'm like licking his soul.
What if you put it in a jar and you could just take a sip out of it?
Yeah.
Oh, I like that.
Soul daiquiri.
Roll a d20 to determine if we can do this sort of form of torture.
I got a 3.
Well, it's for Daerma, actually, right?
Oh, okay. Oh, thank God. Oh, God. Please get higher than a 3. I kind of want to see this happen.
Da-da-da-da-da-da. Nope, I get an 8, but that's about as
I think it's a really cool
roll.
concept, but yeah, we didn't roll high enough. You feel like you tried it. What happens is Daerma tries to do the same thing with the phylactery to take this guy's soul out and basically leave a husk of him behind. But in doing so, you kind of lose control of his soul. But before it just escapes, you consume it quickly into your own phylactery where it's permanently destroyed. But in doing so, you think that you do have a wicked thought that crosses your mind. What if I raise him as like a zombie? His corpse at least can serve you forever.
Yo, that'd be so cool. Lys probably wouldn't be down for it.
It's up to you, High Queen.
That'd be hilarious.
His lifeless body is now like in the catacombs. He was publicly humiliated, but the decree from Her Highness is that all executions are done in private to not, besmirch the Elven people's sensibilities.
You know what? I kind of think I want to encase him in glass and just put him somewhere to remind people that that's what happened if you go against me. Because I'm kind of feeling Machiavellian here. I want to.
You want to gentle repose him?
Yeah.
What do you want to do?
I want him to just.
I agree with the High Queen's demands.
You should be put in a glass bottle or something.
Glass bottle,
glass bottle. Okay, yeah, like a case or something, and just.
Yeah, because.
Traitor written on it.
Yes. The reason why kind of Daerma's just going with Lys's with Lys is because he is bonded to them because of their past bond as adventurers. And that's something that he would never ever break under any circumstance.
With Goris killed, I'm going to say, I'm just thinking off the top of my head, the other woman, part of the council, was anti-war. She did not want to expand the leagues. But after Goris was basically captured and put on show trial, there was some evidence, but there was mostly through hearsay. The rest of the council members are in complete fear. And in doing so, those council members have fled and to some type of exile, or just fled the continent of the Isles of Ethlalos. And instead, Lys has now consolidated all the power of the council, and she rules essentially as a dictator.
Oh boy.
I would probably create a new council, honestly.
You want to create a new council?
I would have a new council with me because, I mean, checks and balances.
Yeah, but who would stand up
like...
against you? Like, we pick like puppets essentially, or yes men, right?
No, I want like not people who are going to like try to kill me or my friends,
but like, rather people who can have an open disagreement without trying to take you out of power.
Right, like a very not a self-motivated kind of party. Like,
I'm trying to think. We got to make a roll. I mean, you mentioned that to people, and the elves are very fearful of you now. The last person that crossed paths with you, it's rumored that he was tortured in the basement by the Lich. And so just make a d20 roll. I don't know what to do. I mean, it is kind of a persuasion roll, though. But I mean, I would say the DC is 25, right? I mean, it's got to be pretty high as a persuasion roll.
Yeah.
I mean, if like it's an 8, because I'm the one leading the armies to battle, I'm going to need a council to rule while I am gone, and being a letter ruler.
You find like a person, that you leave to govern the Isles of Ethlalos. Yeah, like a regent lord. Okay. But the council, for all intents and purposes, is totally dissolved.
Okay.
And no one is basically stepping up to question your power, especially when you wield the God Sword, and you have Daerma as a Lich at your side.
This is fun. I kind of don't want you to turn away from a Lich, because we have a certain power here, man.
God,
awesome.
This actually feels weird but awesome at the same time. Like, we can fuck up the entire we can fuck up the world of Zen together.
We literally can. I'm down with that, actually. I'm actually down with it. It's like Lys and Daerma the Lich, the saviors of like the continent or whatever. Like, yeah. And then like after we get back from like war or whatever, I'll be like, okay, let's start governing people.
Let's start governing people. What have we done?
It's purely chaotic at this point.
That's kind of where the end of the session ends, actually, right? Because I didn't know where it was going to kind of go. I didn't know if you guys were going to go to this temple or not. So what the conclusion is Daerma is fallen, I'm assuming, deeper into his lichdom ways. He's basically, by the end of this thing, he was consuming souls, and so he has no problem consuming sentient life or prisoners, whether they be in his moral justification as well. I guess they're just going to be killed anyways. And it's up to Daerma to decide if he wants to build upon that. Daerma becomes, as he falls deeper into this necromancy, he regains all of his mind. His madness goes away, and he becomes very powerful as a result. Lys...
Get a class change?
Yeah, no, you do. I was trying to explain it like with the chrono shift thing. With doing so, you also like revert. You're able to... Daerma can make a d20 roll. This is to remove sort of the curse of Ghoul upon him when he touched the Godstone. Lys can give you advantage on this roll. This is an overarching idea. Again, it would just be like a separate adventure really altogether in a way, but the Lys and Daerma have stuck together, I'm assuming now. Like they didn't separate or anything like that.
No.
We're soul bonded now.
They're buddies.
You're officially soul bonded.
Or maybe we should say the proper term, king and queen.
Yes! Oh yes! My god, a king Lich?
A king! Let's fucking go! Let's fucking go, King Daerma! I love it.
I'm
right?
Obsessed.
God! I mean, it just kind of makes sense.
It does.
Do we have a marriage ceremony?
I suppose.
I think that's our going to war.
Like, obviously...
Our honeymoon is going to war!
Obviously, this would be, like, insane against, like, traditional elvish traditions, like, to marry an undead creature. But...
Apparently too late to fucking buck the trend now!
But, I mean, Lys now, like, is the law, essentially, of the land. Like, no one can question her. And it is now like, even though it's like heresy to even speak of such things, as like Daerma is now the king of the elves with Lys, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh my god, that's awesome. I mean, Lys has always been against tradition because she had the tattoos for the spells.
Sure.
They're like, you don't like that on your body, but yeah.
And Daerma being a half elf, a high half elf in particular, but he's already as powerful as a high elf, if not better.
Yeah, after you guys kind of like killed Gorish and consolidated his power, you decided your bond is now forged just beyond battle. But now maybe, I don't know if it's based in love or, but more maybe just political, power, that both of your powers combined, you guys can rule all of Arcax to start.
I don't have any, I don't have any problem with where this relationship is going to go, but...
I don't either.
But, I'm undead. I don't have anything to work with down here.
Yeah, unfortunately, he can't bear any children, but I know in like medieval times they did have like concubines and things like that. So if you did want to produce heirs, like there's ways to do it.
I have no problems. I just can't.
A little bit of tuckery, right?
Do it. I just can't do it.
Kind of some interesting ideas and motifs.
No heirs are going to be needed.
Food for thought, right? You both are immortal, so it's assumed that you don't even need heirs too, right?
Oh yeah.
That's true.
So the story, the main kind of point to the story too, is Daerma is a lich, essentially. He's embraced his lichdom. He no longer wants to become mortal. The fix and the absorbing of souls is created him and given him powers far beyond what he ever could achieve as an elf or a half elf. And then the continuation of this story is that we don't know how the invasions went, right? We know that somehow they survived.
We're gonna be good.
Right. We know how they survived.
We're gonna take over the West.
I like
the
it.
West is mine. Because what's west of Westeros? Me.
Oh my gosh.
But you guys hear of an ancient evil that has once again returned to Barovia. And with your newfound power, you find a way to, once again, the call is once again received and the challenge accepted. Cool, huh? That's where our next story with your two characters will begin at level 20.
Yeah.
Be like, Lys, I think she has returned.
Fuck.
I know we're not gonna... you think we should just give the troops vacation? Or should we just, have some of our best come with us?
Nah, let's leave them here. They don't need to see that.
They don't need to see that nightmare?
Yeah.
The shit that we went through?
Yeah.
Yes, I agree.
We're gonna leave them here. Leave them here.
And if they ever rebel, well, they're gonna get fucked.
Yeah.
I would do a roll to determine how the invasions and the campaigns of Daerma and Lys went. But it's just too far in the future, and I don't know where other games will go. But we'll keep that in mind. Like, basically 1 year later, Lys and Daerma are now campaigning and launching invasions across Varkax to begin with. But not in the two different... We'll just say, actually, story-wise, to make this kind of easier... as the ships are about to depart, you hear about this man in Barovia who is once again returning, families going missing, the dead once again rising up, and perhaps the return of an old enemy that needs to be put down once again, once and for all.
We must return to Barovia, but unfortunately, we have to take the troops with us because this is one of those things where we brought them along, we started campaigning, but we're like, we need to go for a little detour.
Cool. So you want to take the armies north then to Barovia.
Yeah, we'll take the armies north to Barovia.
I want
to take one ship with us, but also have the rest of them go east.
West,
get
you mean?
the Isles close to us.
Or
Well,
west.
not whoever's close to us.
Sure,
Who's
the West.
closest to us?
Yeah, you were saying
The West is closest?
Yeah.
Yeah, then we're gonna go over there.
You want to go attack
Get this
Rizu.
Stupid genie.
Cool, I like it. So that kind of sets up the story and kind of concludes everything. You guys had fun.
Oh,
Yeah.
I did.
Oh, yeah.
Now
Scared we were gonna lose him to Lichdom.
Totally up to you
I
guys.
was honestly scared. I was honestly scared too, but I was like, you know what? Just embrace every last roll and every last bit of it, because at the end of the day, we kind of did what we set out to do, and I am actually happy for this conclusion, because now he can live forever, and he does have a wife now.
I mean, there has to be some
He does
campaigns,
clean.
you know, like where you guys, that explains why you guys got to level 20. So there has to be some success in the battle, and the world does change. Again, though, I don't know how it'll cross-sect with the other campaigns, if and when that'll ever happen, but just something to keep in mind that we can add it to the table, add it to the timelines.
Honestly, it would be nice, because it's like, okay, so
It explains why you're level 20, right?
Yeah,
I could
not
write some
just
battle scenes. I could write some battle scenes.
yeah, and not just that, but it's like to the other parties that are venturing out in the world of Sin, and they hear of the Elves' uprising.
For sure.
Or in this case, the uprising of Daerma and
All right, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's have a few other rolls. The first
Okay.
roll.
Let's do it.
Let's first roll is the roll of success of battle. Roll a d20 by Sandra's.
Okay.
Daerma is the king of the what did we say it was? Tor. Did you say the name of it was?
Torlisane.
Torlisane.
So that'll be a nat 1.
Oh my.
We lost to the West. That's fine. That's fine. We'll go back over east and go over there.
Story wise, what we'll do is the armies in your ambition with Daerma headed west, but the Genie conjured a storm and destroyed almost the entire fleet. There was still some of the fleet was remaining, but the campaign was a total failure. Right?
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
It was because it's natural 1. That's brutal. So the campaign was a complete failure. But you still had many other adventures with Daerma. But the armies of the elves, we could say, needed time to recoup. Let's roll a d20. Do we want to roll a d20 for the relationship of Daerma and Lys over the course of time?
No, it's gonna stay the same. It's gonna stay the same.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, it's gonna stay the same.
we're gonna yeah, it's just gonna stay.
Okay. That's kind of it.
So not the success or failure but of the campaign, but since we already rolled it, I was like, couldn't I roll 2 because I'm also part of that?
Why don't you roll a d20, Daerma, to determine kind of what happens? That's kind of what initially happens in the first invasion.
Yeah,
I mean,
the first invasion with me, it kind of sucked. It was a 5.
Yeah, we'll say that, like I said, the campaigns, there's still some campaigns that were good. And again, there has to be, this is only like the immediate aftermath of sort of our little story here, but the story between then and level 20, there's still large gaps of time. We can always return back to these characters, you know, in between those levels. And there can be a little bit of break, you know, for the one shot, but this kind of gives a cool little backstory to the one shot idea, I think.
Okay.
Sound good?
Yeah.
Actually, I guess the next
dreaded natural
is...
1 came out. And if you rolled a 20, it would have been like an absolute, you know, conquering or something like that.
Oh my god.
What's up?
Subjugation.
That.
Yeah, it would have been like perfection.
I mean, the West was probably going to be harder anyways.
I guess the other game will have to deal with it.
We'll get there.
Tuesday or
Wait, like our
Thursday?
Tuesday game?
Oh,
With
fuck.
the Genie!
You
You said you wanted a Genie, man. Why did you say you wanted a Genie?
Hey, Genie was gonna be fun, okay?
Is this fun? This
is fun. We brought genies into the world of Zin.
Oh, fuck.
My
Cool.
gosh.
I gotta deal with this fucker.
I guess I do have one question. For the
Sure.
one shot, am I still going to remain as a Chronergy, or will I revert back and kind of get
That's what we need to roll for Daerma. Daerma rolls. I'm assuming that since you've embraced your lichdom, you've gained we'll just make it cool. That you've gained a lot of power by doing so. You're now one of essentially a lot of liches. Very, very powerful. Of course, there's just a lot of gaps in story ideas, but you've now, and that's kind of what I wrote in the prologue, is you became and reverted back to your spellsinger ways. So you lose the curse of Bool, so you lose that true sight, I think, right?
I lose the true sight.
Yeah. You lose you're able to somehow, with help of Lysandris, you're able to, Lysanther, you're able to, I'm going to get it right one of these days. With her help and the rebuilding of the tower, the White Tower, the tomes of knowledge have once returned, the studies of magic, you guys weren't able to maybe push the campaigns outward, but instead you went back and rebuilt the elven kingdoms to at least their standing glory. So they're basically become impenetrable to outside forces. But
so we're good at defending, not attacking. Got it.
And some of the
me in a new game.
Yeah, and I mean, in theory, that they become, the High Elves have once again fallen back into some traditions of isolationism and their idea of perfection. Now, if Lys wants to write me stuff in the future of changes with that story, we can do that. That's cool. But yes. Daerma is now a blade singer, so that explains it for your the upcoming one shot as well. Cool.
All right.
Any other questions?
No, am I a full blade singer? I guess
you can do it basically whatever you want, man.
All right, let's go.
So you can, but you are
singing.
But you are a lich with no drawbacks. But now it's like you basically will consume souls, right?
Unfortunately, yeah.
So you've stepped in, and if you want to say your alignment is evil, but one cool thing is you no longer have the curse of Bool, though. So.
Yay!
You could be chaotic neutral. Can the lich be neutral?
I guess so.
I would say
so.
True neutral at this point because, like I said, he's bonded to his friend.
He is sucking out souls,
it
guys.
is.
He's sucking
but
out
he's
souls.
not doing it maliciously.
Yes,
sure.
it's much more in a controlled manner, and he only does it to his enemies.
That's just where the chaotic comes into, though. So he'd be more of a chaotic neutral.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
You're like, all right.
Sure.
Oh my gosh, I can't. I don't know. It's gonna be funny if my characters ever cross.
I will.
Or any of our characters ever cross.
I will end up putting a post for the new one-shot game probably in a few days. I want to run tomorrow's game, see how that goes, and give opportunities for players from the previous game to do it if they can. I don't know how schedules are going to match up. I'm thinking we'll do it on a Saturday, just because it's easier to do it on the weekend, even though it's kind of some back-to-back games. It'll be on a Friday or Saturday. I'm thinking of that. It just works. And hopefully you can make it. If not, it's okay. It's not a big deal. It's just an optional one-shot.
Yep.
It will be difficult, and there is a chance that your character can die. So.
Fuck it!
I have power word kill. I'm excited.
I
want to use it.
Kill.
I'm going to spend 2 spell slots or two pack slots on power word stun and power word kill.
I like it.
I know that.
It's a pretty awesome fight. I haven't run too many super duper high CR fights, and this is just an opportunity for players to play it, as well as I get to play this sort of fantasy version. I've developed somewhat of a story for it, so it'll be pretty cool, and we'll see where it goes.
All right.
Awesome.
Cool.
I guess Daerma is now forever a lich.
Yay! He can rule forever.
He can rule forever. He also can't get hit by non-magical bullshit.
Oh, that's such a plus, too.
I know. Well, I mean, that's the thing. Looking at it now, I'm like, okay, so I lost True Sight. That's no big deal. But that's not part of the Lich. That's not part of the Lich's abilities.
Right.
Core set of abilities. So it's like, yeah, I lost it, but that's only specific to bullshit,
Let me take a look. I think you still have dark vision, though.
I still have dark vision, but that's about it.
Let me take a look.
Because it's like, because turning into a Lich was a separate thing. I got the Eyes of Bull before I
You have the dark
Lich.
vision from being a half elf. I think
Yes.
that's the way I've designed the Lich lineage. So
And
yeah,
that's okay.
yeah, cool.
I like it.
You still have one legendary resistance as well. And also your
Right.
phylactery. I'm going to say that you've reinforced your phylactery in a way. And you can write to me. Why don't you? You can also write more about that if you want to me. Maybe where you stored it or how you stored it to protect it. So, Lys's elves are immortal, but now you're like. That's why I said like you're like truly immortal. Like if you're ever killed, like you can come back. Like Lys can still die. You know.
She's immortal in age, not in pure
Right.
power, or not by anything else.
Cool. This is just a lot to take in, for one session, right? So you guys get to decide. Yeah, you guys can decide on more stuff if you want. Cool, huh?
All right. Thank you so much for setting this up, Az. I find it's like the
Cool.
best part about it is I finally got, we finally got a solo session, which is nice.
Yeah, closure for Daerma finally.
He embraces himself and who he really is at the end of the day. A good soul-sucking Lich. And Lysanther gets to embrace herself as High Queen of the tier of the High Queen of the I'm gonna fuck shit everything up with a God Sword.
I feel a little mad queen going on here.
Yeah.
Danny may be coming out. I mean, the wig is white, so it could.
Yeah. I get so who else? I know I said so who else, but we can probably talk about it all, when we're finished up here. But is Marcus coming back or is Giants?
Yeah, he
coming
wants to.
back?
He wants to.
He wants to bring Marcus back.
Marcus, yeah. He wants to play a really high. Again, it's an opportunity for players to play a really high level character.
Okay.
Okay.
So we got Marcus leading us then.
Yeah, and I'll probably tell you guys to write some backstory. Oh yeah, one other thing. So you would probably have more magical items. There's like a list of gold. You can use yourdnd.com to help determine the gold items, but I will give more details as I release it. But basically, you'll be able to add more magical items onto your character again so we're match the power level of level 20.
Okay.
Awesome. Okay.
All right, guys, it's been fun,
Yeah.
and
Thanks for coming, guys.
no problem. Thank you for setting this up.
I know. We'll see you Tuesday.
I'll see you Tuesday.
See you Tuesday.
Bye.
Bye.
Cheers. Bye bye.
Bye.